Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It is Thursday, so we are talking Turner syndrome. So before we get started with this week's topic, I wanted to look at some of the comments that you guys left on last week's Turner syndrome video. Pam Marie said, I hope this video helped an expectant TS mom or woman with it to understand it. One thing I wanted to bring up is a long time ago on one of your infertility videos, someone commented that we have what's called streak gonads. I've been looking into this and it seems as though he was correct in a sense that girls with classic mosaic probably have regular ovaries most times, have streak ovaries. In fact, when you Google Turner syndrome, it says also called gonadal dysgenesis. I thought this was some new info I found that I would share. Thank you for sharing. I remember that comment, and I think what I responded with was each case is different, so you never really know. It's not something that can be assumed, really. Especially from all of the different cases I have seen and the different stories I've heard, there is not going to be a one-size-fits-all answer, and that applies to really everything with Turners. So, yes, it is definitely a possibility and common for gonadal dysgenesis to mean streak ovaries and kind of just a streak of tissue. It can happen in mosaic as well, but you are correct. Mosaic as the lighter version on the spectrum, I guess, if that's how you want to phrase that, has a better chance to have normal ovaries, and in fact there are quite a number of mosaic girls that are able to get pregnant naturally or are able to use their own eggs for IVF to get pregnant, and even though they have trouble, they can still use their own eggs. Classic, it's almost never a possibility to use your own eggs if you even have any. So in that sense, yes, that is a possibility, but and maybe I don't know how much this applies to something like this, but I want to look more into it because I don't know if that's a guaranteed assumption. Much of the symptoms that I found with Turner's have been case by case for how it's affected, what it does, how the functioning actually ends up happening. And so I hesitate to say it's a guarantee in any case because I've definitely seen those rules broken more often than not. So I will do a whole video on gonadal dysgenesis and like streak ovaries and see kind of what I can research and what I can find out. I don't know what my ovaries look like. So it is definitely a possibility that I have streak ovaries or some kind of variation of that, or they're smaller or disformed, just not as fully developed. Things like that are totally possible. I have never actually had ultrasounds that have resulted in telling me that answer as far as what my ovaries actually look like. It would be very interesting to know. That being said, I did not get told that in any of our medical appointments for infertility, for figuring out what my body was doing. So if they somehow found that out, they didn't let me know. So I don't actually know what mine look like. I would be very interested to know that. But thank you for sharing and thank you for your comment, and I'm probably gonna do a whole video on that soon. Marie said, I wear lymphatic socks every day since the age of 8, plus I go to physical therapy once a week. A lot of your tips are super helpful and are things that I experienced as well or got recommended by my PT. Another big factor that shouldn't be left out is sports, because moving can also help to get rid of the swelling. Going for a run, if you have, with your lymphatic socks on, and your feet will be much better. On hot days, the best thing you can do is go for a swim. The compression of the water is as good as any lymphatic drainage massage at PT and helps your whole body. I love this comment because it is so true. Movement is beyond any capabilities I have to stress important. Like, it is such an important thing to be moving just for a lot of reasons, but fluid and that whole system working well is definitely helped by movement, by exercising, by stretching, by any kind of being active you can think of. It is helped, and that can be majorly helped if you are super swollen. Going for a walk, as much as that might sound counterintuitive, if it's light, that can help. If the reason you're being swollen is maybe you've been in one place too long, because even if you're standing on your feet, if you're not moving around a ton, that's not doing that part to help it. So definitely that is a major help to it. And I had never heard about lymphatic drainage massages, and that now sounds like amazing, and I really want to get one. Thank you for your comment. Okay, now on to this week's topic. For this week, I actually have a really fun one and kind of a funny one for us girls with Turner syndrome that we know the struggle. And that is finding clothes that fit. I have always had that struggle just because of being shorter, my chest being wider, my weight fluctuating. I have had so much trouble finding clothes that fit the way I need them to, and the way that if they properly fit, they would fit, both in length and in size around, because the proportion can be off, to put it nicely. So I am bigger than a child, but I'm not that much taller than a child. So the length is closer to what I need, even if it's not fully there. But then they don't have my actual size in that length. Even petite, like jeans or pants, don't usually work for me. I still have to cuff them like twice. I still have to roll them up like twice. There has been one pair of jeans that I've bought in my life that I've not had to hem, that I have not had to roll up, that fit me well, and I've not found any outside of those. Otherwise, I've had to hem pants, I've had to roll up sleeves on my arms, I've had to compromise one area of it fitting correctly to get the more important area of it fitting correctly, and just to find something that's still functional. And this goes for like bras as well. I'm speaking to girls, obviously, so this is a concern. Having it fit you right is difficult because one of the symptoms of Turner syndrome is a shield-shaped chest, which is wider at the top, and this can make finding a good fit in that area very difficult. And it means one size or one part of it won't fit correctly while the other does. So I thought I could give a few tips on that today as far as what I've done to find good fits and to make adjustments to things that I have for them to fit correctly. So I have 5 tips I thought I would share. The first one is to find a brand of jeans that you really like and stick to those jeans and learn how to hem them for yourself. So whether that's one that you don't have to hem a ton and you can just hem it a little bit, or maybe just cuff those, like roll them up, that works great. Obviously you want ones that you can adjust in a way that aren't going to all bunch at your ankle, because I have found that where it's a pair of pants that fit great in every other way and they're like skinny jeans, so they don't have the flare out at the bottom to worry about, but they still cuff and gather at my ankle, and so there's like just this gathering of fabric because they're too long on me. Those kind of things are what you're trying to avoid. So finding ones you can adjust to you really well, finding ones that you know how to hem perfectly for what you need. And obviously that means knowing how to hem, or having a seamstress that you know, or having a tailor that knows how to fit things for you that you can take it to. So this is just a reality, to know how to adjust the clothes to yourself. The second tip would be always buy in store and try them on. I have never been able to make buying anything but some shirts online work. I've never been able to order pants online and actually have them fit very well. They're either too long or too small, or you just never know with online anyways, and then you add kind of the really weird or complicated measurements that come with me, at least, and then it makes it difficult to match it to what their sizing is on top of online sizing already being weird. So I would suggest always buying things in store if you can and trying them on. I have never had buying clothes online for anything but some shirts work very well. My third tip would be to know your exact measurements. So be as aware as you can of what your measurements are, and then you can try to fit that to what you're trying to find. So if that's a bra size, you know your exact measurements and you can kind of play around with what brands work best for you. So you can try a couple brands, a couple styles to see which one fits you the best. My fourth tip has to do with making the clothes as flattering for you as they can. And that would be, don't make them too oversized and don't make them too small. Like there's a sweet medium, a nice compromise in the middle where they may not be exact, but they work okay. And I think going oversized, especially with us being so small, it tends to not be as flattering. It tends to make us look smaller and look more childlike in oversized shirts or big sweatshirts. I know if I wear any of that, I usually only wear it at home because otherwise they eat me up. Hashtag short life. So my fifth and final tip is to just shop around. Really take the time to try different stuff on and see what you like, see how they fit. And if things have adjusted over a time period and you did it before, go back and do it again. Stay on top of what you need, what's good for you, and what works for you best, and then you can try to keep your wardrobe as fit to you as you can. So I think this is always going to be a process throughout our lives. It's always going to be something that we have to pay attention to and that we have to really keep up on, and it's not usually going to stay the same. I know for me, my sizes adjust in so many different ways. Whether it's by brand, brands just have different sizing. Whether it's I've changed, it's pretty frequently adjusting. I think that goes for every piece of clothing, and that also goes for shoes. Because if you have wider feet, more narrow feet, puffier feet, all of that affects what size you need and what sizes work for you best. And there's gonna be a brand that works better for you. So trying a bunch is very, very helpful to land on what one is best for you. If you have any other tips for this, leave them in the comments below. I would love to know your thoughts. I hope this helped you in some way. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and share it with everybody. And if you are not already subscribed to my channel, click the screen and subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye!